Welcome everybody. Welcome to tutorial number 5. On this tutorial, we're going to add some platforms to our structural model here, and by platform I mean mostly grating and plates and that sort of thing. And there's a couple of special considerations that we need to make when we are actually putting some platforms on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch our actually we can't switch because we need to make a new layer. So let's go ahead and open up our the layer properties window. So that's from home or from structure, and you can go straight to layers and click on the layer properties like I'm showing here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a new layer. Let's name that platforms. Good. And let's put it a color that won't burn your eyeballs. Okay, so let's choose that. That's good enough, and that's it. And we're gonna double click that one, so that becomes our current one. As you probably already know, there's another way to make a layer current by just choosing that from the drop down on the layers section under structure palette. Okay, so another thing that we're gonna use on and off quite a bit is the properties window. I find that it's sometimes super easy to just change the numbers than actually physically change the object. So in that case, you can just go into the properties window and quickly change some of the attributes. So to open the properties window, just as long as you're in the AutoCAD, just start typing properties. And as you can see, my first option is properties. Go ahead and click that, and just like so, your properties window should pop up. Now usually it's gonna show up like so, a big window in the middle of nowhere. So what you can do, just drag it and kinda dock it right beneath your project manager window, and that works just fine. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to show you guys how to show only selected objects on the AutoCAD Plant 3D environment. So here under the structures and visibility, there are a couple of different things here. So there is an option that we're going to use. It's called hide others. So let's go ahead and just select the very bottom horizontal members here. I'm just gonna select them one by one. You could try to do it with the selection windows. You know how you click and hold and go from left to right to do the blue window, or right to left to do the green window. Green window means anything that the green window touches will be selected, and the blue window means only what is completely enclosed in the blue window will be selected. Okay, so there you go, and now we have selected the entire bottom structure, and we're gonna go ahead and press on this from structure visibility, this tiny little button there called hide others, and voila, everything is hidden. But it's still there. You can still draw everything and it'll still show up, just not everything else. So there's not a lot of interruptions and viewing clashes and whatnot. And once you've hidden everything, you can easily click on show all, and it will pop it back in. Okay, so what we're going to do here, actually we also need to select the grid as well, otherwise we don't know exactly where to place things. So I'm just gonna quickly select the bottom horizontal members again. We don't kind of need to, but we should. Actually we do need to. And then I'm gonna click on say hide others. Perfect. Now you can see that we have just the grid and the bottom members. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to use my green window. So I'm gonna click my left mouse button and just create the blue window. So I'm going from right to left, it's gonna select everything, but it also selects the grid. So every time you select something and you want to unselect it, you can still do the green or the blue window, but just hold down shift and then select, and everything but the ones that you selected is going to be deselected, so which is kind of awesome. So now I'm going to show you something else. So under structure and modify, there's a little button here called structure edit. Go ahead and press that, and this little window that we used to choose our structural member at the beginning will pop up. Now I've chosen this so that I can switch the justifying point, the main justifying point, to the very top and in the middle. We're doing this mostly because how sometimes AutoCAD Plan 3D would put grading or plating at which point of a what can I say, a structural member, and sometimes it can be pretty confusing to move up or down. So it saves a lot of headache to just go ahead and do that. So what I've done is clicked on structure edit from modify, and now I have, as you can see, that little blue dot. I just put it on the very top middle. Press OK, and then we're done. Okay, so now we're going to add a plate. Well, we're gonna add a grading, but we're gonna it's under the plate option. So we're just going to, okay, let's actually first let's make everything into line model again. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna use plate, and then this little thing should pop up. So we're gonna choose grading. We're gonna keep it at ASTM, which is the American standard, but it's used quite a lot. Let's call it thickness is 30 millimeter. Why not? And make sure you choose grade from here. There's a lot of option. You would have probably something else selected at the beginning. Just go under G and find grade, GRATE, and hat scale 10. I like it a little bigger so you can see. Let's make it 20. Why not? It can't hurt. Or maybe it'll look pretty bad at 20. Let's go 15. Okay, and the shape. Justification, make sure it's also selected at top. Justification should be top, and the shape, we're going to go new polyline. So we're going to draw a polyline, so pretty much like a rectangular shape or whatnot, and it's gonna pretty much draw it when we close the polyline. I'll show you that. Go ahead and click create, and we're gonna start in this corner. Gonna go to this corner, to that corner, to that corner, to there, to there, and there. And believe it or not, it's done. We have our grading on. Let's go to shape model, and perfect. Look at that. Okay, so we have our grading. As you can see, it is actually a grading. It's not a solid plate. It looks pretty decent. Okay, so here is something I'll show you why using the properties windows can be very beneficial. Now I actually want this to be at the very top. I don't really want it at the bottom, because I wanted this area that I'm indicating here actually open. I want this to be at the top. So how can I do this? So once you have selected the grading, the entire grading as an object, and on the properties window here, whatever is selected on the model space or paper space is going to show all the properties that are specific to that object or that group of objects. So as you can see here, it says the Z position is 500. We know that our the whole grid is 8500 millimeter high. So if I were to put 8500, press enter, voila, it's up at the top. That's actually a handy dandy tool to sometimes just move things easily, or fix something on it, or change attributes. Okay, so I'm going to click show all and see how it looks. Does not look that bad. Okay, so it looks okay. Oh, everything is selected. Go down, select that. Okay. So, and what we're going to do is hide everything but the grid right now. So we're gonna go back to hide others. Okay, so now we only have the grid available. So we're going to repeat the same thing that we did for the first grading, and we're gonna choose the same stuff here. Justify top and new polyline. Okay, perfect. And we're gonna go create, and we're gonna put the grading at the bottom, but just at this rectangular section. Okay, perfect. So let's see if everything shows up all nice and clear. Okay, so from the looks of it, it does show up pretty nice. And now our structure is almost done. And one thing I did notice though, that if you were to move it up, for some reason our structural elements actually show up, and that's pretty bad. I know why. Because we are actually supposed to change our what do you call that, reference point of the structural members to the top bits. We didn't do it, so it's actually snapping onto its middle of it, so that's not good. Let's go ahead and change that. So what I've done there is selected all the upper horizontal members and clicked on structure edit, and I'm going to say orientation is top justified, everything else is the same, and bam, it's done. Now our grading has moved to the proper spot. Now you can't see them through it, because obviously in real life you won't be able to see that through. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. So what we have done is we created a grading for the top and the bottom, and as you can see, it's starting to come together, and we will talk to you guys on the next one. On the next one, we're going to work with stairs. Okay, see you guys later.